This is a battle in the Use It and Lose It tournament on the map of Bells. There is a lot of forest on this map. Quite a lot of forest. Mainly on Suebi side. It opens up a bit towards the side of the Nervii. So for Suebi here we have 4 Swordmasters. Ariovistus of course. 4 BlyndStorm. Germanic Slingers and I thought I saw a Longbow Hunter in there. Spear Levy, Wodanus Spears, 2 Wodanus Spears, and 3 Germanic Scout Riders. For Nervii, we have Oathsorn, I think I saw 4. Then we have Celtic Warriors, Fierce Swords, Mighty Horse, Levy Free up front, and Celtic Slingers, Germanic Scout Riders as well. If Ariovistus hits, goodbye, Nervii. But if Swordmasters go one-on-one against Oathsorn without somehow Fast Charge or Pride, they're going to have a bad time. Now, Fair Swords do well against BlyndStorm on the charge. Celtic Warriors, BlyndStorm will do well against them on the charge. But there are many units on the field here able to change the results dramatically. For example, these Wodanus Spears. They have the Elite Spear, they have good melee attack, they are light, they only have 50 armor, very high melee defense. Under the right circumstances, these units can do exceedingly well. That is if they're left alone and they don't take a Fierce Sword or an Oathsorn to the face. But there are other units for that. Now the way Ariovistus is set up here, it's going to affect mostly the center units. So the BlyndStorm are centered around that. Swordmasters also centered around the fast charge. I personally would hate to fight on this map because it's so hard to see what's going on when you're like, if you're up here it's hard to see what's going on, and if you go down here then you lose a lot of the view of the battlefield. Nervii are going super wide, perhaps wanting to scout out Suebi a bit to see where they go. Now the Germanic Slingers are going to be able to trade very well when they're in a forest. So are the Cimbri Bowwomen. So the Celtic Slingers are... Let's see if they're taking fire, or... Levy Freemen are taking fire here. Now the Celtic Slingers are firing into the forest, but not very effective. But there isn't much else Nervii can do in this case. Since both players are attackers, then they have to engage. Levy free into Wodanus Spears pull away. We have Germanic Scout Riders just rushing the center like madmen here. Wodanus could just take this engagement and get a unit of Levy free off the field. Suebi pulling back down the line. Spear Levy in a... Oh, fast charge being activated. So perhaps pulling back and just waiting for the fast charges to hit. But I think they are too far away to be able to use fast charge effectively here. Yep. Seems like they are a bit far away. But Nervii is not pulling back. Fast charge hits here against Levy Free. Levy Free are going to die, of course. Oathsorn in support. But using Oathsorn to kill BlyndStorm, that's a bit of a problem. But it looks like that's what's going to happen. Taking a bit of a beating here. Fast charge against Oathsorn. This is an interesting engagement. So the BlyndStorm get a few kills on the charge, but they get proper wrecked. Still better than charging Oathsorn and not having fast charge on. Oathsworn General in the center. Rushing. It looks like it's going to fight some Wodanas here. The Wodanas are not going to get the charge. And we should see Wodanas drop very, very quickly when they don't get the charge. But here comes the Swordmasters as second line, and Wodanas and Swordmasters should do well against Oathsworn. This is a very interesting engagement. Now, the Wodanas took a lot of damage here. Headhunt was used on the Swordmasters. Wodanas are wisely being pulled out, so now the Swordmasters got a good charge on the Oathsworn. Oathsworn over here tanking against multiple units, against Swordmasters, Bloodsworn, and another Bloodsworn. So this Oathsworn is going to start dropping. It's getting a lot of kills, but it's also taking friendly fire from these Germanic Scout Riders. Fierce Swords and Fierce Swords not doing too well against Swordmasters. Doing a decent job against the Bloodsworn, but against the Swordmasters it's no contest. The Swordmasters attacked in the rear now, but the Oathsworn are definitely taking the worst of the beating, because they didn't get the charge, the Swordmasters did. Wodanas just running around a bit there in the background. Such a messy engagement. But I mean, look at this mess here. Just no organization whatsoever. It's a barbarian brawl in the forest. So the Oathsworn have Budognatus as the general, so Fighting Spirit making them unbreakable. Fighting Spirit and Headhunt at the same time. A bit excessive maybe, but a bit of a desperate last resource here for the Oathsworn. Up to 78 melee attack. Oathsworn using Headhunt down the line, only fighting Levy Freeman. That was Swordmaster using Headhunt, so they're going to be tired very, very soon. The Swordmasters are losing decisively because they got charged there. Wodanas, counter cavalry tactics against nothing, it seems. No cavalry units in the engagement. Celtic warriors rushing into the back of the Swordmasters, and here in the forest, Germanic Scout Riders not that effective in the forest. But this Oathsworn, the Nervii general has recently died, so that's a problem for Nervii certainly. We have some more Fierce Swords free here. We have a unit of Mighty Horse chasing down some skirmishers. But overall it looks like Suebi got the better of the engagements. Yeah, the Oathsworn here, 175 kills, but they are dying to a combination of units. The combination of Bloodsworn, Wodanas, and some Germanic Scouts. Here come the Swordmasters head on against Fierce Swords. Swordmasters are very tired, but still the Fierce Swords are going to drop quickly. Levy free javelins into the Swordmasters. The Celtic warriors losing now to the Wodanas and the Swordmasters. General unit still alive, even though the general is dead with 50 men left in the unit. That is bad luck for the Nervii. Wodanas chasing off to the cavalry here with their counter cavalry tactics, so they have to pull out. In pulling out they lose men, but they are able to get into the Bloodsworn here and get some kills there. So the general is not dead for Suebi, with an equal amount of men left in the unit. He might very well be dead in this battle though. Winded against exhausted. Even on the charge, less men in the Oathsworn unit. And shield wall being popped by the Oathsworn. But it seems like there is a lot of Suebi left. The Oathsworn are getting surrounded. And yeah, rear charge now, nicely done with the Germanic Scout Riders. So losing decisively, getting charged in the rear, general dead. Even Oathsworn are not going to like that much. So only some Oathsworn left now on the field for Nervii. And this is what usually happens with Nervii. You have the Oathsworn, just everything else is dead, then you have Oathsworn left on the field. And then they get ganged up on and they die. Nice kills on the Bodeness here. Oathsworn, double bronze, killed some important units, but now they're off the field, so let's see here. Bloodsworn, decent performance. Swordmasters, decent performance. Bodeness, good performance. The Oathsworn, decent performance. Very good performance on the Fierce Swords, but they probably just killed these shitty spear levies and such. But the Nervii in a forested map like this, and against Arivistus, it doesn't take many Arivistus charges before things start turning around. And Fierce Swords, once again, decent unit, but I think under these particular rules and on this map where cavalry is hard to use, Suebi is well able to deal with Nervii. In the open it would be slightly different, where cavalry could be used more effectively. But on a forested map like this, definitely Suebi. And I'm sure for the players, I know it will play a factor for me. Playing on in a forested map like that is just hard as boss. So good game, strength and honor.